Ontario is standing at a crucial moment in its political history, where the ground beneath the polished cities and manicured suburban lawns is no longer stable. The traditional political order is fracturing, and the predictable dominance of the Liberals and the NDP in cities like Hamilton, the 905 region, and even parts of Toronto's downtown core is now under serious threat. The stage is being set for a dramatic shift, and at the heart of this moment stands Mark Carney, a man once heralded as a financial visionary now finding himself awkwardly out of step with the political tempo of the province. With a finance manual in one hand and a plan for massive deficit spending in the other, Carney resembles less a bold leader and more an academic caught in a political storm he never prepared for. Meanwhile, Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservatives, isn't simply mounting a campaign, he's sparking a movement. His message, stripped of spin and ornament, is cutting through the usual political noise. He's stepping into Ontario not as just another politician chasing votes, but as a man with a sledgehammer in hand, ready to demolish the old architecture of bloated bureaucracy and out-of-touch elites. What he's offering isn't novelty, it's clarity. It's a brand of politics grounded in the concerns of everyday people, the kind of pragmatic thinking that hasn't had a real voice in Ontario for years. As Poilievre speaks in straightforward terms about fixing what's broken, Carney seems increasingly adrift. His campaign appears more comfortable with policy memos and economic forecasts than with door-knocking or town halls. Liberal insiders, once riding high on Carney's globalist aura and credentials, are now in disarray. The mood in Liberal war rooms has shifted from confident to chaotic, their caffeine-fueled late nights no longer about strategizing but damage control. Carney's much-touted $130 billion spending plan, marketed as a clever economic growth strategy, has landed with a thud. Critics and voters alike see through it, recognizing it as deficit spending disguised in think tank jargon, delivered with the tone of someone who's used to being listened to, not questioned. Poilievre, in contrast, is meeting people where they are in community halls, church basements, gymnasiums, and union halls. He's not appealing to economists. He's speaking to parents worried about food prices, young people priced out of the housing market, and workers struggling to keep up with inflation. His promise is plain: stop wasteful government spending, make life affordable again, and trim the bloated government without gutting the programs that matter. He isn't offering ideology. He's offering realism, and it's working. Even in Hamilton, long a bastion of NDP loyalty, Poilievre isn't just making appearances for headlines, he's forging connections. The response has been strong. People aren't just listening, they're showing up, they're donating, and they're talking. Meanwhile, in Carney's world, there's growing concern. Liberal-leaning suburbs like Brampton, Mississauga, and Vaughan, once safe zones, are slipping. These communities are home to middle-class families who don't care for economic lectures when their grocery bills are through the roof and mortgage payments keep climbing. Carney's recent public appearances haven't helped. In a now notorious CBC interview, he was asked about his ballooning deficit plan. Rather than respond calmly or clarify his vision, he lashed out an outburst that played badly on live television. It revealed not the calm poise of a seasoned leader, but the brittle pride of someone unaccustomed to being challenged. Viewers saw not a man ready for public service, but one still clinging to his boardroom authority, visibly uncomfortable without a panel of fellow technocrats to nod in agreement. Poilievre, on the other hand, is composed and unfiltered. He speaks without notes, without rehearsed talking points, and without slipping into the jargon that's come to dominate liberal rhetoric. His platform isn't just about cuts, it's also about preservation, keeping $10 a day childcare, making rent attainable, and ensuring vital services stay protected. And the financial support he's receiving isn't coming from deep-pocketed elites, it's coming from ordinary Canadians. From mechanics and nurses to single parents and small business owners, donations are pouring in. $20 here, $50 there. These aren't attempts to buy influence, they're acts of reclaiming a stake in the country's future. Even long-standing Liberal territories like Windsor and Dundas are wobbling. In Windsor, a riding flipped Conservative by just 4 votes, a margin that would have been unthinkable not long ago. In Halton Hills, unusual increases in early voting numbers are drawing scrutiny, with whispers of deeper cracks forming in what used to be an unshakable Liberal apparatus. As these fissures widen, Carney's campaign grows more frantic. The man once marketed as a financial savior is becoming a liability. Focus group feedback is bleak. Internal polling numbers are dropping fast. Fundraisers are anxious. The Liberal brand, once shiny and dominant, is losing its luster fast. There's also the issue of credibility. Carney was meant to be the antithesis of Poilievre, rational, adult, and dignified. But instead, he's come off as just another privileged insider. It doesn't help that while he lectures Canadians about tough economic times, he reportedly holds over $5 billion in offshore accounts. Nor does it look good that he sips cocktails at international climate conferences while Canadian energy projects get shelved, projects that would provide jobs and energy independence. His ties to green energy funds, which conveniently benefit when Canadian oil takes a hit, reek of conflict of interest. These aren't just inconvenient truths, they're damaging realities that no amount of Liberal spin can bury. Poilievre, meanwhile, is offering a starkly different picture. He's not asking Canadians to trust the government more, he's telling them they should trust themselves. His message is simple: keep your earnings, build your lives, and stop depending on a sprawling Ottawa bureaucracy to manage your future. What he's selling isn't just policy, it's a return to sanity. A departure from the lecture halls and roundtable summits that have come to define Liberal politics. What's happening in Ontario isn't just another election cycle. It's a political reset. It's not about left or right, it's about survival. Voters aren't behaving like loyal partisans anymore. They're behaving like people with skin in the game, like citizens who've had enough of being talked at. The elite experiment is failing. Ontario, once a proud showcase of Trudeau's top-down governance model, is waking up. People aren't voting out of tradition anymore. They're voting out of frustration, out of fear, and crucially out of hope. Not ideological hope, but practical hope. And Mark Carney, for all his intelligence and experience, is running out of time to adapt. The mood has changed. The electorate has changed. And if he doesn't, he risks becoming the symbol of everything voters are ready to leave behind. As Pierre Poilievre continues to gain traction, it's no longer just about policy or messaging. It's about momentum. He's not just leading a campaign, he's leading a quiet revolution. One grounded not in anger, but in purpose. Not in radicalism, but in realism. And that movement, polite and persistent, is on the rise. For Carney and the Liberals, the water is rising fast. And if they can't find a way to swim or at least float, they might find themselves politically underwater for a very long time.